Shutdown negotiations have hit a wall. The standoff has only intensified. Tonight at 10, we hear from some local furloughed federal workers.
A local company is going out of their way to do something good for an area World War II veteran.
And later, for the first time in nearly 13 years, the Green Bay Packers have introduced a new head coach.
This is News 3 at 10.
Thanks for joining us tonight. The stalemate over the border wall heated up today after President Trump met once again briefly with Democratic leaders.
Those who attended the meeting gave different accounts of exactly what happened, which was held behind closed doors. Mr. Trump, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer met this afternoon at the White House, but talks quickly broke down.
He sort of slammed the table. And when Leader Pelosi said she didn't agree with the wall, he just walked out. The president then turned to the speaker and politely asked her, okay, Nancy, if we open the government up in 30 days, could we have border security? She raised her hand and said, no, not at all.
After the meeting, the president tweeted that it was, quote, a total waste of time. I said bye-bye. He is scheduled to visit the southern border of Texas tomorrow as the shutdown heads into day 20.
And many federal workers have been out of work since the shutdown started as they wait for leaders to come to an agreement. Amy Reed ran into a group of them today volunteering at the Second Harvest Food Bank while they wait. Amy?
We've got about 1.3 million. We can hold about 1.3 million pounds of food in this particular facility at any one point.
Second Harvest shelves are stocked and ready to take on the next challenge that may lie just a few months away.
We worry anytime that somebody struggles with hunger because that's what we do.
And while Chris Tazalar with Second Harvest said the food bank is always working to get more meals to more people, he's still watching what's happening in Washington, especially after the USDA's latest announcement that food stamp funding will only last through the end of February, which means many more people could need to turn to them.
We never take our foot off the gas pedal when it comes to trying to source food and get food out to the communities that we serve. And so this is just another thing to consider for our partner agencies that they may see increased traffic.
The food bank has good partners and volunteers that can help. But the surprise to us was how close these volunteers really are to what's going on.
We can't do anything, absolutely anything related to our jobs.
Because these part-time orange sorters here by chance at the same time are really full-time researchers with the USDA, furloughed since December 22nd.
We're sort of, stuck. I've been working for the federal government for 30 years. I love what I do. I love my job. We have priorities. What we do feeds people.
Diane Amundsen and her peers were sick of not going to work, so they volunteer instead. She said she's okay for money, but other contracted workers are not.
The chances are, yes, that there will be federal employees who will be using the food pantries. Demand will go up.
It makes all the work she's doing while not at work all the more important. But while she loves being able to help,
I just want to see the whole thing resolved, yes. I'd like to be back to work on Monday.
If you do need help getting food, Second Harvest said the easiest way to get set up is by calling Dane County 211, and they can connect you with the food pantry closest to you.
Amy Reed reporting tonight. Amy, thank you.
A Fitchburg man is unable to report his stolen identity to the government because of the shutdown. Zach Meritz says he was alerted that his Social Security number was stolen on Sunday. He says he tried to report it to the Federal Trade Commission, but when he reached the website, identitytheft.gov, he found a message that read, "We are unable to offer this website service at this time."
It's given to you by the government. It's supposed to be your special secret number forever, but they won't protect it. So I would think that, of all things, would be something the government would want to open.
For more details on what to do if something similar happens to you, go to channel3000.com. The U.S. Air Force has confirmed that it's investigating allegations of sexual assault and harassment within the 115th Fighter Wing of the Wisconsin Air National Guard. Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin asked the Air Force in November to investigate the allegations brought to her attention by a master sergeant in the Security Forces Squadron. He told Baldwin in a letter that he had learned of at least 6 instances of sexual assault or harassment against female members between 2002 and 2016. Today, Baldwin's office says it got a letter back saying the Air Force is now conducting a complete review.
And we turn it over to weather now. It looks nice out there downtown tonight, but the wind was a big factor. Has been since yesterday, really. Not quite as windy as it was yesterday, but it feels like single digits out there. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canaldi with our first alert forecast. Gary?
Well, when the temperatures get colder, it doesn't take as much wind to drop the wind chills pretty quickly. The big question is whether or not we'll get into the single digits tonight. Right now, Doppler track, free of precipitation across Wisconsin. Lake effect snow is really kicking in. Downwind from Lake Superior and Lake Michigan. Of course, the mild weather has kept those lakes largely ice-free. So when it gets cold, the cold air traveling across the warmer lake waters will generate those lake snow squalls. Also some light snow up in northern Minnesota and parts of North Dakota. But things quiet across southern Wisconsin. High today, only 20 degrees in Madison. Big change from yesterday's high of 41, and even that was early in the day. So the temperatures have been down for about the last 36 hours. Milwaukee topped out at 24, but areas north of Madison stayed in the teens. Current temperatures are in the lower to middle teens. Here in Madison, we're at 14 degrees, but you factor in winds that are out of the northwest around 10 to 15 miles per hour. We're seeing wind chills now in the single digits, just barely above zero. In fact, Juneau down to zero right now in Dodge County. By tomorrow morning, look for those temperatures to drop off to the lower teens and upper single digits, but with partly sunny skies tomorrow, we'll look for a high temperature of 26, about average for this time of year. That's your first alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. Governor Tony Evers says he is following through on one of his campaign promises, proposing to increase funding for public schools by $1.4 billion. Governor Evers has said that's a provision that will be in his state budget proposal. Republican lawmakers say they are hoping to work with the governor on K through 12 education issues.
Governor Evers has certainly had a very conciliatory tone. He wants to work together. I think he's identified some of the key issues that I campaigned on as well.
We are going to put together our budget that we created at the Department of Public Instruction. And going forward in the negotiations with the legislature, we can see where the points of intersection are.
And today, Governor Evers announced the creation of the STAR Student Program, which allows Wisconsin teachers to recognize excellent students for their accomplishments. And the governor will close out his first week in office by visiting the troubled Lincoln Hills Youth Prison in Irma. In a statement today, Governor Evers said he'll make the trip in order to get a better understanding of the problems at the facility. Current plans call for Lincoln Hills and Copper Lake prisons to be closed by 2021 after they've been the subject of lawsuits and scrutiny over the past few years. Last year, Governor Walker shut down the prisons in favor of a series of county-run regional facilities. Lincoln Hills will be repurposed as a facility specializing in drug treatment.
Governor Evers also says he will be sending a letter to Attorney General Josh Kaul this week, calling for Wisconsin to change our stance in a multi-state lawsuit seeking repeal of the federal health care law. Evers campaigned on withdrawing from the lawsuit, but in the lame duck session, the Republican-controlled legislature created a law that would require legislative approval to be removed from the lawsuit. State Representative Peter Barca has officially resigned from the legislature to join Governor Tony Evers' cabinet. The governor picked Barca, a Kenosha Democrat, to lead the State Department of Revenue last week. He was sworn into the assembly on Monday and then turned in his resignation letter later that day. Evers can now schedule a special election to fill Barca's seat. A volunteer tutor at Wright Middle School in Madison charged with sexual assault has pleaded guilty today. A group of students notified the district in March that they were uncomfortable with the behavior of the tutor, 20-year-old Ella Malik Medina Lopez, who was working with them at the school. According to court documents, he sent hundreds of inappropriate messages, including nude photos, on Snapchat. He will be sentenced in May. Back in December, we brought you the story of a McFarland business that won a 2018 Governor's Award.
That business back in the news tonight, showing us why it has received such high praise. Jamie Perez joins us. She has the story tonight. Jamie?
That's right. Well, just to refresh everyone's memory on what that original story was about, U.S. Vet General Contracting won that award, and we showcased that in mid-December. Well, one viewer who was watching the story needed their services, which sparked this business to step right into action and just prove why they were so deserving of this award in the first place.
The work here is about halfway done. John works with U.S. Vet General Contracting in McFarland. He's fixing up a bathroom that Lisa Benitez requested.
And John keeps telling me it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be so beautiful, and I know it is, so I can't wait to see it.
You can tell Lisa is excited. But this bathroom isn't really for her.
My dad had a stroke 3 years ago. so he's not able to walk.
It's for her dad, Edward Neese.
I'm very, very pleased that they're doing that for me.
For the past 3 years, Ed has been in a wheelchair, making it difficult for Lisa to get him into a shower that had some elevated flooring.
When you love someone and you care about them, and it just comes from your heart, it's as much joy as it is work.
Ed was in the Air Force during World War II. He's been through a lot, as you can imagine. When the president of U.S. Vet General Contracting heard about all of this.
Ed being a World War II vet, not too many of those left, obviously, and I have respect for my other veterans, but especially respect for the World War II veterans, just what they went through anyway.
He decided to redo this bathroom for free.
He said, we're just going to do it for you. And my eyes just welled up with tears, and I thought, oh, what a gift.
But for Matt Bell, this isn't necessarily a gift in his eyes. It's more just about giving back, about veterans serving veterans. And in this case, it's making this bathroom wheelchair accessible for Ed.
Let's go by one rule, and my major rule is do the right thing, and this seemed like the right thing to do.
As a company that doesn't do residential requests and solely focuses on commercial services, this isn't their typical working environment. But for Lisa, and for a man who spent a long time giving, U.S. Vet General Contracting thought they could give a little bit too.
It's just going to be so much easier, something I won't worry about anymore.
Now you see why they got that award, right? Matt says their bathroom should be done by the end of this week, hopefully making Lisa and Ed's lives both a little easier from here on out. It's good to see other people doing good things.
I do see why they got that award. Our thanks to Mr. Neese for his service and to Lisa for taking care of him. Jamie Perez reporting tonight. Jamie, thank you. And still ahead at 10, a major Wisconsin-based company expected to file for bankruptcy in the coming weeks.
And a chance for some snow as we enter the second half of the week. Gary will rejoin us with his full forecast.
Welcome back. UW-Madison will host a meat competition later this month. Today, the university announced it'll be hosting a satellite contest of the IFFA quality competition at the Discovery Building, January 21st through the 25th. The main competition held every 3 years in Frankfurt, Germany. This is just the second time the organization has held a competition outside Frankfurt. The Reedstown Police Department in Vernon County warning people about counterfeit $100 bills being passed in that area. There have been reports of counterfeit bills circulating in the village of Muscadet, Richland Center, and the village of Avoca. The 3 police departments arrested 1 suspect, but are continuing to investigate the fraud.
A pharmaceutical drug supplier to Shopko says the Wisconsin-based retail chain is expected to file for bankruptcy next week. During a court hearing with McKesson Corp., who says it has supplied Shopko with $67 million in drugs since November, but has not been paid since early December. The company's attorney said Shopko plans to file for bankruptcy protection on January 15th. Neither Shopko nor its parent company, Sun Capital Partners, have publicly commented. The city of Madison expects to give out nearly $25,000 in grants this year to help residents clean up neighborhoods and develop their communities. The grant gives neighborhoods, businesses, and resident groups the ability to create public gathering places and leadership groups. According to city officials, the program has helped create more than 300 projects since its formation in 1999. For more information on these grants and how to apply, head to channel3000.com.
Time to talk weather again, and it has been chilly both yesterday and you felt it again today, but long-term things will be turning around.
They will be, you know, and the thing about it is, we haven't had much snow on the ground this winter, so that's kept temperatures at night up. And in fact, it has been 329 days since the last time that we've seen single-digit temperatures here in Madison. That's the longest stretch in history, according to Dave Caulfield, who was doing some research earlier. That broke the old record of 324 days back in 1987. And if we don't do it tonight, I think it's going to be a while, perhaps another week to 10 days before temperatures get that cold. Low temperatures this morning were in the single digits over northwestern Wisconsin, around 0 in northern Minnesota. But here in Madison, we dropped to 14 degrees. And with things pretty quiet around here right now, some lake effect snow showers downwind from Lake Superior and Lake Michigan. The sky is mainly clear across Wisconsin. That would ordinarily allow temperatures to drop off pretty quickly. But against that, we don't have any snow on the ground here in southern Wisconsin, and most of that is in the northern portion of the state. And with the winds lightening up, it doesn't bring down the cold air quick enough to drop those temperatures into the single digits by early tomorrow morning, at least in most areas. So high temperatures today that were in the teens to our north and west and around 20 in Madison have been giving way to temperatures in the middle teens. But over the next few days, those temperatures go right back up again. 26, the expected high temperature for tomorrow. That's average for this time of year after a colder than normal day today. And then temperatures in the 30s to around 40 degrees for the next 7 days, and it looks like that trend will continue not only into the end of next week, but even beyond that. The 8 to 14-day temperature outlook calling for above normal temperatures from Wisconsin westward, the highest probabilities over the western high plains. Precipitation expected to be above normal in the Pacific Northwest and also in the southeastern portion of the country. We're kind of an in-between area where the weather systems will pass us either to the northwest or to the southeast. The live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Skies are clear tonight, but it is cold. High today 20 degrees, low temperature 14, and that is also our current temperature. Skies are clear, but the winds are still a little brisk out of the north-northwest at 8 miles per hour. That drops our wind chill to 3 degrees. Wind chills at times could dip below 0 for tonight, but that wind also mixes up the air and prevents the cold air from settling down close to the ground and keeping temperatures a little milder than otherwise you would expect. So 14 in Madison. Notice even to the west, La Crosse at 14, Marshfield at 10. You have to get over that thicker snow cover to see temperatures in the single digits. So it'll be tough for those temperatures to get into the single digits here. Wind chills, though, should have no problem. They're already there, and you can see wind chills above and below 0 across much of the state. Upper level winds are from the northwest. They flatten out to the west in the Dakotas and southwest over much of the western part of the country. So milder Pacific air will start heading back eastward as we head toward the end of the week. This high pressure system is the center of the cold air mass, which has dropped southward. The next batch of cold air kind of bypassing us to the north and east and heading more toward New England. So that's where the really cold air is. Temperatures below 0 in northern Minnesota, but to our south and west, those temperatures already in the 20s and 30s, and we'll see overnight low temperatures back in the 20s by the end of the week. 11 for the overnight low temperature with wind chills 5 above to 5 below 0, with skies becoming mostly clear, and a high of 26 for tomorrow with mostly sunny skies, about average for this time of year. On future track, you can see a few clouds moving in here late tonight. Low temperature dropping to 11. High temperatures tomorrow back in the middle 20s. Notice the winds becoming a little more southeasterly with time tomorrow night. Temperatures around 20 and then holding steady through much of the night. And then on Friday, those temperatures getting up into the lower to the middle 30s across much of southern Wisconsin. 7 to 10 day forecast, temperatures continue up by about a degree or two each day. You can see highs mid-30s over the weekend. Some light snow chances Friday night into Saturday morning, and then a few flurries toward the middle of next week, and then maybe some light snow toward the end of the week. But even over the next 10 days, those temperatures at normal for tomorrow and above normal for the rest of the time period. So it looks like it'll be a while before we get any more accumulating snow around here.
All right, Gary, thank you.
Thanks, Gary. The Packers welcome their new head coach to Green Bay. We'll hear from Matt LaFleur next in sports.
It's been quite a week for Matt LaFleur. He interviewed to be the Packers head coach in Nashville on Sunday, and today he's introduced as the 15th head coach in Packers history. LaFleur has been coaching for 18 years, 10 of the last 11 years in the NFL, most recently as offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. Now, he's worked with some pretty good quarterbacks, Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, and Marcus Mariota. Now, the question on everyone's mind, how well will he work with one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, Aaron Rodgers?
I cannot wait to get to work with him. I think he's equally as excited, and there's a lot of work to be done in front of us, but just looking forward to that opportunity.
Yeah, I would add, Aaron was part of that leadership council that Brian and I met with, and his input was part of the overall input we've received, but it was very helpful as well.
Of Of course, the Packers hope LaFleur breathes life back into the Packers offense and the team in general. LaFleur was the last of 10 interviewers for the head coaching position. Murphy says it was clear he was the right choice for the job. As for LaFleur, he says making the big move took some guts.
I took the risk because I knew that I needed to get out of my comfort zone and grow as a coach. And, you know, the lessons I learned this year, I learned that football is not always easy. You better navigate through some adversity, and I was proud of that. I would not be the coach I am today without having those experiences of this past season.
Mike McCarthy is going to take a year off from football. He said the only job he'd take was the Jets head coaching position. Tonight, Adam Gase gets it, so McCarthy will chill out for a while. He says he wants to coach again in 2020. The Chicago Bears have lost their defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, who's now going to be the head coach for the Denver Broncos. That goes against the grain of recent head coaching hires. Fangio is 60 years old. He's been an NFL assistant for over 30 years, and his calling card is defense, while everyone else in the NFL seems to be going for offense. Happy birthday to Packers legend Bart Starr, who turns 85 years old today. Starr played 16 seasons for the Packers, leading them to the first 2 Super Bowl titles, despite being a 17th-round draft pick in 1956. Starr continues to struggle with health issues, but he's hanging in there on his 85th birthday today. We're all set to go with our next Prep Media Game of the Week. Tomorrow night, we'll have boys basketball in the Badger South as Stoughton and Monona Grove do battle in Monona. John Boyle joins me for the game. We hope you will, too. 7:15 tomorrow night, live on channel3000.com. NBA, Bucks in Houston. James Harden had 42 points. But here's the play of the game. Watch the pass. Doink! Off of Harden, but this is how it went for the Bucks all night. It ends up with a three-pointer for Ersan Ilyasova. Final score, Bucks 116, Rockets 109. And men's college basketball, Marquette at Creighton. Marquette down 3, 0.8 of a second left. Sam Hauser for 3, got it. And we go to overtime. Marcus Howard, what a night. He scored a Big East record, 53 points, 53. Final score in overtime, Marquette 106, Creighton 104. And we'll be right back.
Gary's here with the final check.
Getting a little cold out there. Temperatures right now in the teens, but you factor in the winds, and wind chills are in the single digits above and below zero. By tomorrow morning, temperatures perhaps down to around 11. High tomorrow, 26, and then we're mainly in the 30s to around 40 through most of next week. Just a few snow chances.
All right, Gary, thanks. Thanks for joining us.
Do something good, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.